COVID-19 has become a global pandemic which will have lasting effects on society and the global economy. At White Shield Partners, we asked ourselves some critical questions that should help nations learn from this experience and understand how to be prepared for future crises that threaten the socioeconomic well-being of a society. Would we be better off if this virus had started in a small state like Singapore, or maybe in a more isolated country such as Australia? Once the threat of a novel virus became globally known, which nations were most susceptible to adverse effects? Which ones were more prepared to deal with such a situation? We asked these questions in retrospect for two reasons. First, to understand the ongoing situation and how the effects of COVID-19 might continue globally and thus be able to take actions and adopt the measures of those states that are better prepared. And secondly, to develop an indicator that can inform countries and global organizations about their future exposure to such crises and adopt measures to lessen the potential impact of these. Each country's systemic risk is dependent on several criteria, such as health infrastructure, population demographics, social cohesion, interdependence with other nations through trade or tourism, and effectiveness and trust in government. Taken together, these indicators give us a measure of preparedness to a pandemic or additional similar risk. And from these, we have derived the Coronavirus Resilience Index. Let's take a practical look at how this index helps us to evaluate the impact of COVID-19. China ranks fourth within our index. It has recent institutional experience in dealing with infectious diseases. Its population has a high degree of trust in the government, which has also been highly ranked by the World Bank as possessing an effective government. A low-ranking country within our index is Italy. It has a high share of elderly, which is a vulnerable portion of the population to COVID-19. The level of trust in government within the population is also low, and the effectiveness of government has also been ranked low by the World Bank. Similarly, we expect that if this pandemic spreads to countries ranking lower in our index, they will need to take more comprehensive actions to contain the virus. They will also benefit from the experiences of others to adopt the adequate measures needed to reduce the impact and return to normalcy. In summary, countries with the weakest structural conditions need the most substantial policy response to the coronavirus. This is what the index can identify. The index can also help countries think about future preparedness and how to deal with the so-called unknown unknowns. Whether it's a health pandemic or other issue resulting in a national crisis, some common factors can be evaluated to be prepared to deal with it and thus to mitigate or contain its effects.